Listen, so I've been a housing inspector for about 10 years. And the bulk of my business comes from inspecting foreclosed houses for banks. I have some major players as clients. Bank of America, Citibank, you name them, I've done business with them. So I get a request to do an inspection on a house in Alabama. And this place is in the middle of no freaking where. The closest town to this place is called 5 Points, Alabama. And that's in the middle of freaking nowhere. Now, according to the file I received, the family had bought the house 2 years ago. They stayed in the house for 3 weeks, moved out, never made the first payment. And so you understand, Bank of America had the property in their real estate owned portfolio, and they were about to list this property and wanted to know what condition it was in. A good inspection can take you about 3 to 4 hours to do. So normally I get to a location early in the morning, 8:30, no later than 9 o'clock. I get to this place, and it's freaking beautiful. 2-story, 3-bedroom house, nestled in the woods. The place looked amazing. You ever heard somebody tell you appearances can be deceiving? That was the case with this house. Because once I went inside, it was freaking creepy and weird. Look, these people left everything in this house. Furniture, clothes, water, food, TVs, everything. Freaking everything. Dish towels, plates. The house was completely furnished. And let me try to describe it to you. Walking around inside this place felt like I was doing something wrong. Like I had went into a stranger's house and I was violating their personal space. That's how much stuff was left inside of this house. Going upstairs into the master bedroom, into the bathroom, there were literally toothbrushes and toothpaste on the sink. Headed back downstairs, outside to the garage. There was a freaking green Honda Accord still in the garage. Now, I don't know about where you live and what people do when they move out of a house where you're from. But where I'm from, when you move out of a house, you take your stuff with you. You don't leave cars and bicycles in your freaking garage. Now, just so you and I are on the same page, I'm pretty sure you agree with me that something was not normal about this. So I go back to my truck, pick up the phone, call Bank of America, and get in touch with my contact over there, a guy named Ruben. I said, Ruben, listen, this is freaking weird, bro. I've never seen anything like this. Everything is still here at this property. These people didn't move out. It looked like they literally disappeared. Ruben's reply was simple. Look, it's not your job to worry about what's inside of the house. It's your job to inspect the structure of the house to see if we can sell it. Just get the inspection done. Hey man, pick up the phone and call the police. And so guess what? I did. Called the sheriff's office, waited about 30 minutes, and his deputy comes out. I explained to him what I saw inside. I take him inside of the house with me, and he agrees that this is extremely strange. We're standing outside on the front porch when he says, hey, I'm going to take a ride up to the nearest neighbor and talk to them about this family and see if I can find out what's going on. He gives me a cell phone number and leaves. Hey, now I'm feeling better about the situation, so I can get back to work. I pull out my ladder, get up on the roof. I'm walking the roof doing an inspection. This house is a gable roof, and looking down into the gutter, I can see shotgun shells. Not 1 or 2 shells, 30 to 40 freaking shotgun shells all in the gutter on this roof. And guess what? It just got worse after that. Seeing those shotgun shells made me want to walk the entire roof. So now I'm walking on the back side of the roof, looking at the gutters, and I see a human thumb, swollen flesh with exposed bone. This is someone's freaking thumb in the gutter on the roof. Listen, during my entire time doing housing inspections, I've seen some crazy stuff. Rats, dogs, satanic emblems sprayed in houses, candles and rituals where people were doing rituals, stuff like that. But I've never, ever found a freaking human body part while doing a housing inspection. Picture this, me standing on the roof, staring down at this thumb in the gutter, feeling nauseous, about to vomit, It was too much for me, so I climbed down, grabbed my cell phone, called the sheriff back. No less than 3 minutes later, he's flying up the road, sirens on, lights flashing, and when he gets to the house, we climb back on the roof, and I show him what I found. Look, the sheriff was just as confused as me, and when I asked him what the hell he thought was going on out here, he goes on to tell me that he spoke to the nearest family, which is about 1.5 miles away. Those people thought that this family was still here living in the house. When he inquired about moving trucks and traffic going back and forth, they told him they just figured that the family was extremely private. When he asked about anything strange going on in the area, the only thing they told him was a couple of years ago they heard a shit gunfire coming from down this way. But it was none of their business, so they stayed out of it. Listen, the next thing you know, the sheriff was telling me I need to leave because they need to do an investigation to figure out what the hell was going on at this property. So I leave. Now, between me and you, that's one inspection that I didn't do the right way. I got pictures of the inside, I got pictures of the roof, I got pictures of the gutter, but there was a lot of things that I didn't have an opportunity to check out at that house. Listen, I get back home. It takes me about a solid week to get a report done on this property. Then I forward it over to Ruben at the bank and the realtor that they've hired to see about selling it. It might have been 4 or 5 days after I submitted the report, I get a call from the realtor and she's asking me questions about the house. Specifically, about the back door which had been torn off the hinges and these huge muddy footprints on the carpet. I explained to her everything that went on, that the property was in good condition when I inspected it. I explained to them about the sheriff coming out, looking around, and then more officers coming and taking a look at the property, and that as far as I knew, the house was in pristine condition. This woman starts having a meltdown on the phone. Well, listen, it's not in that kind of condition right now. There's no way I can sell a house that's been ransacked like this. And you know, it felt like she was kind of trying to blame this whole freaking situation on me. So I told her, look, woman, I did my job, I did the inspection, I guess you just got to do your job and get the house sold. Now, check this out. I put the whole situation out of my mind, go back to doing work. About a month passes. I'm on the phone with Ruben talking about this new inspection that he wants me to do. When he says, hey, man, you remember that property with all the furniture in it? And I'm like, yeah, the weird property with the freaking thumb and shotgun shells and all the furniture. He's like, yeah, that one. You know that realtor went crazy, right? Ruben goes on to explain that she called them 12 noon, middle of the day, saying that there was no way in hell that she was going back to that property. Ruben went on to explain that she called him 12 noon, middle of the day, and told him that there was no way in Sam hell that she was going back to that property. She told him about giant people in the woods. Her exact description was that she saw big, black, hairy, retarded-looking people in the woods 8 to 9 feet tall. The poor woman told Ruben she damn near broke her leg trying to run out of the front door of the house when she saw one of those things looking through the back window. Now, I can't explain to you exactly what happened to that family because I don't know. But what I can tell you is Bank of America still owns that damn property.
Now, I know many of you are familiar with the area of Fort Pierce from the Dogman video caught live on Facebook. But what you don't know is the rest of the stuff that happens in the surrounding area. Why? Because no one is talking about it. Why is that? Because black people, we don't with the devil. We don't worship the devil. We don't with werewolves, goblins, Bigfoot, monsters, none of that. Now, you may have these black celebrities out here running around throwing up satanic signs, but as a whole, the black community does not with none of that they own. This is what happened to me. I live in Fort Pierce, Florida, on Johnson Road. The exact address, none of your business. But what you need to know is what I've seen and what got me and my friends straight up tripping. 2 months ago, on a Saturday night, we're all outside on the back porch chilling, drinking a few beers, listening to music, when we see this woman walking along the back side of my pond. She's dressed in white with this white head wrap. And from a distance, you can clearly see that this woman is black, but not the dark-skinned black, light-skinned, the black woman. And she's there, just walking along the water's edge. Then she turns and walks into my pond. And we're all sitting there like, what in the hell is this woman doing? Now, me, as the homeowner, my first instinct is, this is on drugs. She done wandered into my pool. She gonna come around and drown. I'm gonna have to call an ambulance. And then she gonna sue me because she done went into my pond and drowned, even though she's the one on drugs. It's 4 of us, so we decide to surround her on all sides. As I approach, I'm like, woman, what in the hell are you doing in my pond? Are you high? Are you on drugs? Are you all right? I don't know what's going on with you, but I need you to get up out my pond. But she says absolutely nothing and just keeps walking out into the water. Now I'm fussing. Get your crazy about my pond before you around and drown. What the hell is wrong with you? Now picture the scene. As I'm standing there fussing, she's completely surrounded on all sides. My best friend is on the back side of the pond, and he's starting to freak out looking at something in the wood line behind him. And the next thing you know, his black done dived into the pond and is swimming across, passing her, screaming, coming straight towards me. And although I would like to sit here and tell you that I was brave and I stood there like, what's going on? Is everything all right? Nope, that's not what happened. You know how we get down. When one of us run, we all run. Now, as he's swimming, my other friends, both on opposite sides of the pond, take off running in my direction. While they're running, I'm standing there freaking out, and she's laughing. This evil laugh. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. It literally sounds like some out of a freaking horror movie. As she begins splashing and thrashing around in the pond. And then I start to see these green eyes shining from the wood line. I'm 6 feet tall. This is at least 9.5 feet in the air. These gigantic green eyes shining. And then whatever it was decided to growl. Deep, guttural, nasty, long, collapse your lungs, long growl. And while this growl is going on, the woman in the pool begins to point to me. Nope, no, hell no. So now I'm running back to the house, into the door, locking it, turning off the lights, and calling the police. And it takes them every bit of 20 minutes to get to my house. By the time they get to my house, she's gone. My friend is standing there in front of the police with a bottle of vodka in his hand, having a nervous breakdown, talking about the big hairy monster that he saw. I'm the only calm person, so I'm trying to explain to the police exactly what happened. They are looking at me like I'm freaking retarded and need to be put in a straitjacket. Now, pause right here. Let me explain something to you. Ain't nothing like a life-changing, weird, freaky moment to show you who the hell your friends are and who your friends aren't. Because for the next week, I called them every day, asked them to spend the night at my house because I was deathly afraid. And do you know, not one of them bastards came over. In fact, every last one of them told me, I ain't coming back by your house no more because you got weird witch and big giant monsters in your backyard. We don't want nothing to do with that house. We'll hang out with you. We'll go drinking. We'll go smoking. We'll do whatever you want. But we just ain't doing it at your house. And when I tell you I couldn't believe it, I couldn't believe it. I done barbecued chicken, ribs, shrimp, burgers, everything for these bastards. They done sat in my house, ate and drank up all my food, all my potato chips, everything. But the moment I'm afraid, these bastards won't even come over. Got a brother out here all by himself, scared to go to sleep.
So, I've been in America for 3 years, student visa, and prior to this encounter, I had heard of Bigfoot, but never thought it was real. At the time of this incident, I was attending West Texas A&M College, just south of Amarillo, Texas, and like many freshmen, my first year, I didn't have a car, so I found myself catching rides with people going back and forth. This happened on a Saturday night. I was with my friend Lisa. We just wanted to get away from campus, and Lisa's family had a ranch in Dumas, Texas. The plan was to go hang out on their ranch for the weekend, chill, and relax. So we head out, and everything is cool. Just two girls riding along, listening to music. For the most part, we spent the majority of the time talking about boys. She was dating this guy on the track team, and he had her head twisted and turned all around. Lisa was on the emotional roller coaster and having a meltdown. Why? Because her boyfriend had posted this picture on Instagram with him and his other girl from the track team. Now he claimed that they were just friends, but frankly, I didn't believe it. And if you saw this girl for yourself, there's absolutely no way you would believe it either. This girl was 6'4", pure feminine muscle, blonde hair, and she had the kind that women would die for. Now, as we're riding along, I'm not finna tell my friend Lisa that she done lost her boyfriend already. She's extremely vulnerable at this time. So I'm doing more listening than talking, hoping that she's gonna feel better. But in reality, looking at Lisa and looking at this girl, there was no way in hell that he was gonna stay with her. We're riding along, Lisa's talking, spilling out her feelings and emotions. When we hear this explosion, next thing you know, we got a flat tire on the side of the road. Now, to be clear with you, I'm not one of those helpless women who can't change a tire, but Lisa was. So now we're on the side of the road at night using a light from her cell phone to try and change this tire. And of course, the first thing that happens is this guy pulls over and he's trying to help us. Now, we found ourselves in an extremely uncomfortable situation for two women to be in, considering the fact that we didn't have any weapons at all. Now picture this, I'm bent over, tights on, t-shirt, and I can feel his eyes all over me, and it's giving me the creeps. He's standing behind me saying, look, just let me do it. We're in a bad spot. We need to change this tire and get back on the road. So I back up. He bends over, starts taking the lug nuts off the wheel. His cheek is out plumering us, and Lisa and I are standing behind him kind of giggling when we hear this rustling in the trees. He stands up, peers into the darkness, and then starts moving faster. And you can tell for some reason this guy is starting to panic. He stands up, looking around. Where's your jack? Where's your jack? When we open the trunk, he digs around, pulls out a small factory jack that came with the car, and starts freaking out, saying, nope, this is going to take way too long. Turns around, runs to his truck, comes back lugging this huge jack, slides it under the car, and starts to jack it up. As he's bending over, sliding that jack under the car, we hear a tree snap in the wood lines. Oh my God, he starts to spaz out. Get you, come with me, come on, we need to go, let's go. In my mind, I appreciate this guy stopping on the side of the road to help us, but there was no way in hell that I was hopping in the truck of some stranger in the middle of the night. Going to say to him, sir, I really appreciate you stopping to help us on the side of the road, but we don't know you like that, and I'm not comfortable getting in the truck with you. He cuts me off mid-sentence and says, you don't understand, we need to go. I'm not going to hurt you. If I wanted to hurt you, I would have done it as soon as I pulled up. However, there are things in this area that will hurt you. We need to go, and we need to go right now. Listen to me, as this man was still talking, we hear this heavy, guttural, growling, breathing. I'm not sure what the hell it was, but it was long, like 12 seconds long. Lisa and I are like, what the is that? And this dude takes off, running to his truck, leaving us standing right there on the side of the road. A few seconds later, he pulls up and he's screaming at us, get in, get in, get in. Lisa is standing there freaking out, thinking to myself, I know I heard something over there in the trees, but that ain't enough to make me get in the truck with yo, a complete stranger. So I turn around thinking that Lisa and I are thinking the exact same thing and start heading towards the driver's side door of Lisa's car. But when I look back, Lisa is still standing there freaking out. He's screaming, you don't believe me? You don't believe me? Just look. Now, listen to me carefully. I see him holding a flashlight, pointing it out of his truck, out of the corner of my eye. Next thing you know, I hear Lisa screaming, looking directly at her. She is literally diving into the front seat of this man's truck like she's diving into a pool of water. Both of them pull off, her legs still dangling out the door, and leave me right freaking there. Now, I'm inside her car, behind the steering wheel. Remember, trunk is open, keys still in the ignition, lug nuts are loose, tire is flat. I'm all alone, and I hear that breathing and growling so loud that it's coming through the closed windows and only getting louder and louder. So I quickly lock the doors, climb into the back seat, squeezing my body down to the floor behind the driver's seat, and close my eyes. And let me tell you, what happens next scared me damn near to death. You can feel the car shift like someone had put their weight, and I can hear the sounds of flesh rubbing across the windows. I sat there, my eyes closed, too afraid to look and see what this was. Then I hear this tapping on the window, like a person is tapping their finger against the glass. The car starts to shake violently, and I swear to you, it sounded like something from the Animal Planet was right outside that car. The shaking goes on and on for about 2 to 3 minutes, until I hear the most precious sound I've ever heard. The sound of a horn blowing. Lisa's voice as she screamed, get the f*** out of the car and come on, come on. When I opened my eyes, all I could see was this black mass moving away from the car. Next thing I knew, I was falling backwards out of the door. This guy's literally pulling me out of my car, picking me up, taking me to his truck, dumping my body into the bed of his truck. The next thing you know, we're flying down the highway, moving against traffic, swerving across the median. I'm bouncing around, dust flying everywhere. And then we come to a complete stop, and I'm like, holy, what in the hell is going on? This guy gets out of his truck and he's like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm literally laying there in shock, shoulder bruised, arm bruised, butt hurting, scared out of my mind. Turns out this guy's name was Whitney. I kid you not, Whitney. And Whitney was an off-duty sheriff. Lisa is in the front of his truck, hair all over the place, makeup running down her face from crying. We all stay there for a few minutes, settle down. Whitney calls out a tow truck and another sheriff. Now listen to me, when we get back to the car, which was parked right there outside the white line on the side of the road, it's been moved 10 feet off that roadway into the grass. And at that point in time is when things really started to sink in for me. Something very, very bad had to be in this area, because that sheriff that pulled up gave Whitney his sidearm, went to the trunk of his vehicle, got a shotgun, and a tow truck driver who was there changing a tire did it with a shotgun laying on the ground right next to him. And once the tire was changed, that same sheriff who came out to the scene followed us all the way until we got to Duncan. Now listen to me, when I tell you I was scared out of my mind, that's an understatement. But what really, really got me was later that night. Everything is calmed down. We're at Lisa's family house, sitting on a sofa, and she describes to me what she saw. 9 foot tall, hairy monster, no neck. Face looked like a mix between a human and a monkey, and it was no more than 15 feet away from her. And that's why she dove into that truck like she was jumping into an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Now, for the record, some of y'all are not going to believe what I'm saying, and that's fine. I do not care. But for the record, this happened on Highway 287 just southwest of Lake Meredith. And as for Whitney, to this day, we are still friends. We've been to his house, met his wife, his kids. And I tell you, if he hadn't turned around and came back for me, I really don't think I would be here to share this story with you.